It's Luke Howard live at lunchtime. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, what a wonderful round of applause. As always, such a kind audience. More afternoon, everybody. I always do that. Afternoon, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the show. Welcome. It's great to have your company. Today is Tuesday, the 26th of January, and I'm here, as always, Monday to Friday from 12:30 to 1:15. But of course, the show's recorded before then, and it comes at 12:30. Not yesterday, it came a bit later. Anyway, lovely to have your company anyway. Do get in touch with the show. I'll be so happy to hear from you. I really would. The email to get in touch with is GaryJHoward68@hotmail.com, or there's the other email, which is 345-457@student.hrc.ac.uk, or you can also find the show on Instagram. It's the Luke Howard fan page, or you can also use the hashtags #Luke Howard, #Luke Howard Live at lunchtime, and #Luke Howard Live. Lots of wonderful ways to get in touch with Britain's brightest, best radio show. So do go ahead, because I'll be so happy to hear from you, or just leave a message below where this show is being broadcast, and I'll be as happy as anything to get in touch back to you and give you a mention on Britain's brightest, best radio show. Okay, so I want to talk about something different today, as always, and we're talking about young people getting made redundant, because a lot of people have been getting made redundant at this very moment. It's a terrible time at the moment. All shops are shut down, which means that everyone is getting made, lots of people, not everyone, but loads of people are getting made redundant, and the number of people out of work in the UK has continued to rise with those aged 25 to 34, and they've all been facing the biggest risk of losing their jobs. Now, in the 3 months to November, which is gone, people in that age group had a redundancy rate of 16.2 per 1,000 as a fivefold increase on the same period as a year earlier. Now, unemployment rose to 5% from 4.9%, and I never actually knew that, as COVID confirmed to hit the jobs market. Some 1.72 million were jobless. The Office for National Statistics said the highest level in 5 years. That was actually 418,000 more than in the same period that previous year. The biggest increase was actually since late 2009, which I never actually knew. Lots of new things. I learn anything new on this show every single day, and that was another thing that I didn't know. I didn't know that there was 418,000 more than in the same period in that previous year, which was the biggest increase since late 2009. I never actually really knew that. I never knew that there was actually a big increase there. But anyway, Abigail Ward, 27, she freely admits that she was a bit native when she began her latest job hunt after being made redundant as a store manager at J. Crew in London last September. She spent the past 5 years since graduating in retail management, and she had a passion for bricks and motor retail and the value of face-to-face customer interactions, and it's an area that she wanted to stay in. She knew that it would be hard, but she had been in a position before, and she told the BBC that as well, a news programme that as well. But back then, it really only took more 3 or 4 weeks to find a role, and actually maybe 10 job applications, so it all happened quite seamlessly awareness the time around, and it was been a lot more difficult. They said it's probably sent off around 30 to 40 job applications in the last 6 months, the majority of which did go into the ABLAs, and no one ever really had a word. But Abigail had managed to get to the final interview stage for a job, and with her just one other candidate, and it was on 4 separate occasions. She said, "I've missed out on each of these occasions." She also said that there are so many hundreds of applications and it's so competitive. She added, though, that it's definitely been a big challenge as well. The hospitality industry was worst hit by the rise in joblessness, followed by manufacturing. In both sectors, the number of people unemployed went up by more than 50,000 in the previous year. UK employment rate also risen to 5%. But The ONS Deputy Chief Executive Sam Beckett, he told a news programme that the UK had not seen such rises in unemployment since the global financial crisis. Now, payroll numbers, they all show the number of workers on payroll had also fallen by over 820,000 since the pandemic began. And she said employment was still at relatively high levels, which was also compared to other countries. And they also said that but workers aged 16 to 24 were suffering some of the biggest falls in employment. Now, she also added that we are currently got over 4.5 million people on the furlough scheme. So it does also complicate the picture when they're trying to interpret what's going on in the labour market. Now, while the main rate of unemployment had reached 5% for the first time in nearly 5 years, and today's numbers saw the largest increase in the numbers unemployed since the financial crisis, the Chancellor said that we must now be tempted to extend the furlough scheme to coordinate with the rollout of the post-vaccination reopening of the ceremony. Now, there are some bad numbers in that release, actually, because they would also be expected from this very pandemic restrictions that they were expected to be a little worse in the quarter to November, where they were 418,000 extra unemployed over the same period back in 2019. Now, the sharpest annual rise was since 2009, the financial rises. The rate of the regressions also reached the record of 14 per thousand people. Loss of jobs was also concentrated in sectors such as retail and hospitality, most affected by social restrictions which were introduced at the end of the period. Young people also face the sharpest drops in employment. The jobs numbers will also yet to reflect the current return to national lockdown as well. Now, there was a significant rise over those past few certificated months, but there was also unemployment by 5%, and it was still by international standards, and it was being kept in check by the government's job refund and furlough scheme. And the current plan is to also end the costal scheme in April this year, which is going to economics expert, which will see a sharp jump in jobless figures to 6% to 7%. But there was also the government continues to communicate with caution about how fast restrictions out of the economy will be lifted. Business groups are also going to be admitted that the scheme needs to be extended into the early summer, or at least linked to the success of the vaccination programme. Now, across all age groups, redundancies rose to a record high of 14.2 for 81,000 people. However, job vaccinations also rose with 81,000 new reopenings reported in those 3 months. Now, the crisis had gone on far longer than any of the hoped, and every job loss as a result is a tragedy, said the Chancellor Rishi Sunak. And whilst the NHS is working hard to protect people with the vaccine, of course, they're trying to get as many people as they can to actually get it. They're getting loads of people to actually get it done. So hopefully, in a couple of months' time, everyone, by September-ish, autumn-ish, everyone would have had it in. But with no end to sight, though, the current lockdown measures have many firms fear that they may not be able to survive the pandemic, while pubs and restaurants are going to be shut for a very long time. And the pandemic continues to rip through the labour market, and the chief economist of the Institute of Directors, and a return to tighter restrictions last year will also have stretched businesses' ability to retain staff. Meanwhile, the furlough scheme will have provided an invisible cushion for many firms, preventing the unemployment from edging up even further. It is also critical, he said, for the Chancellor to extend the furlough scheme, though, and over COVID-19 academic support beyond the spring as well. The forthcoming budget, though, is a virtual moment to help firms retain, refrain and rehire workers as the vaccine rolls out. And in particular, and government should provide a relief for employers, national insurance contributions and support regarding opportunities to shore up the recovery. Okay, I think we'll leave that story there for now. Okay, so we're going to talk about Facebook now on the show. Now, I don't really know a lot about Facebook because, to be honest with you, I don't even have Facebook. So, and we're going to talk a little bit about this piece of news that sparked my eye this morning when I looked at it. When I came into the studio, the first thing I did was look at the news, and one of the pieces of news that came up was this one. So we're going to talk a little about Facebook. I don't really know a lot about it because I don't have it, but we are going to talk about it because the UK is the second market to get Facebook News, which launched in the United States last year. The several major news publishers, including Channel 4, Sky News, and The Guardian, have signed deals with Facebook to provide content. It also came as the tech industry's relationship with the media comes under increased scrutiny, and French publishers recently agreed agreed to deal with Google on how a new EU copyright law about news experts should be applied. Now, Facebook News is the social network's own attempt to address the long-running friction between it and news publishers, as advertising spend has increasingly moved to large tech firms insisted of individual news outlets. The new feature is set to go live on this afternoon, and the new feature is a dedicated tab from the Facebook mobile app, accessible by tapping the free line icon for more options. The tab features a mix of major daily news stories and personalised news selected for each other reader based on their interests, as decided by Facebook's algorithm. Facebook said it pays publishers for content that is not already on the platform, and says that the feature will also provide, I think it's something to do with publishers with new advertising and subscription. I mean, it's something like that, but it's something like that. But we'll have to. I think we'll have to look into that and see what it is about, because I think we should actually look in a little bit more. But I do know quite a bit. I don't know a lot about this, but it's good to actually look it up and actually read it, because it's very interesting, if you ask me. But it's partly based on data. I think it does come from that area. But Facebook also shows made 95%, I think, of traffic on the news, and it's from people who have not read those publications before. Now, the network site said that its new product is I think it's a multi-year investment that puts original journalism in front of new audiences. And I think in November last year, it first announced the product was heading to the UK, and it has not signed a commercial deal with the news, but may still appear on the tab through public posts if it makes on the Facebook platform. But it's also said that this new product is a direct result of discussions with the news industry, which I think was a industry which it has often been at loggerheads. The tech giant is responsible for driving a lot of traffic around the internet, and a story which performs well on Facebook will often attract more readers than when which does not. But Facebook has also repeatedly made changes to its algorithms over the years, which have affected news organisations sometimes with little notice. It had also encouraged organisations to use its features such as instant articles or to make video content on Facebook. It also versions Facebook News as a better solution than earlier attempts, and one it plans to roll out to other countries, including France and Germany, in the near future. The goal was always been to work out of the best ways that we can support industry in building sustainable business models, and it said in its blog post about the UK launch. And it was also invested more in news and the pay publishers for more content in more countries, where they will work with them to support the long-term visibility of newsrooms. Okay, I think we'll leave that story there, because I think that's getting a bit hard to talk about now. But yeah, we'll leave that there. Oh, National Days, by the way. I must tell you what it is today, because it is Green Justice Day. It's also Spouses Day, and it's planned for a holiday day, and it's also Peanut Brittle Day as well. Those are the days of what it is today. Okay, so time now for some lovely music, and we've got Summer Holiday, sung by Cliff Richard, and the Trovalenty Anvil Chorus, and it's I think we'll change the song up there and put another song on. But the first song now is Cliff Richard singing Summer Holiday.
Summer holiday, no more working for a week or two. Fun and laughter on our summer holiday, no more worries for me or you for a week or two. We're going where the sun shines brightly, we're going where the sea is blue. We've seen it in the movies, now let's see if it's true. Everybody has a summer holiday, doing things they always wanted to. So we're going on a summer holiday to make our dreams come true, for me and you. We're going where the sun shines brightly. We're going where the sea is blue. We've seen it in the movies. Now let's see if it's true. Everybody has a summer holiday, doing things they always wanted to. So we're